Okay, then next let's make the particle component here. Let's add another content here and let's make name to texture to particle, and then let's get inside of that and make first a particle. When you put particle operator here, nothing is in the display, so let's make generator model here, and any model as goes, but this time I use the sphere and connect to the first input of the particles. With that, the particles are generated inside of it, but it's very teeny and hard to see. And so in this YouTube movie, we keep the just for the illustration, we put this material operator. It's not necessary, but just for the illustrations. Put material and put the point sprite operator here and change this particle type to point sprites and apply this point sprite to this material with the drag and drop and change the attenuate point scale with that. Yeah, now you can see that this particle generations, but it's regularly ordered because it's according to the order of the sphere's point numbers. That means that when you check this and right click and check the display options and check this point, as you can see, and it's very too much. Let's decrease that. You see, each point has the numbers, and these particles are generated according to this number. But I think it's not natural, not too much regularly ordered. So let's get insert here the sort and let's make the order become random. Check the no change to random. With that, the generation order become random, so I think it's very natural. Then let's move the particle with the force. First, put the metaval here, and the metaval operators and the force operator here, and connect it to the third connector of the particle. And to show the these models positions, we put geometry component here, and let's get inside of this, and no need for this torus operator. Let's put the in operator here and check this purple and the blue render and the display buttons. Don't forget that without this we can't see any model inside of this. And now need these material operators and set the geometry to here and copy it and paste 2 times and connect particle to here and the generator operator to second ones and the metaval to third one. And let's render these 3D models. So first set the camera here and render. And this time we don't need right because we use only constant or point sprite here. Okay, and then let's apply point sprite material here and check material and put constant here and make color to red and a little bit transparency and apply to here the material to second ones and copy it, paste and change it to blue color and apply it to the third one. And now we can see that these 3D models, but there's no blue ones in the render. And when you move the metaval to right position like this, now we can see that this blue metaval, but it's not appear the transparency. So we have to check this common tab and blending transparency check tab. Okay, and the other two too. Check it, and then yeah, there's no still not transparency. So let's check out the depth test to off, like this. With this, yeah, now we can see the all 3D mode overlapping in render operated. And let's open the view window here to see the particle motions while we are doing the operations. And let's a little bit move more right position here and check the force and make the radial force to on. When you do that, the attraction forces happen in near the metaval center point. And when you change the metaval's radius to more bigger, the attraction area also may become the bigger. Then let's get back to center point, the metaval here, like this, And the generator, let's change the generator size to 0.1. Okay, then we can make the moving particle with it. Then let's make butterfly texture models at the position of these particles. I used instances here, and first we put rectangle here and change size to 0.1. Connect the geometry component here. When you right click this output and select the component. And let's acquire particle position to make the instances here with the sub2. This time we use particle position, and in the sub2 attribute scope P means the position P. The P0 and the P1 and the P2 also works. And P0 means the X positions, and the P1 means the Y position, and the P2 means the Z positions. And this time we don't use the Z position, only X and Y, so we got rid of this TZ and the PZ. And okay, we can get the X and the Y position, TX and TY. Then connect to null 1, yeah, and check the geometry for instance buttons to on. And let's drag and drop this null 1 to here, instance chop, and that is up. And there appeared some menus, and let's check TX to TX and the TY to TY. And then let's make another render for the butterfly textures. So we want to render 3 geometry to here, but not the fourth one. And with this render, we want only 4, not for these 3. So let's change the parameters to get the geometry about the render 1. Let's make geometry parameter to geometry 1, 2, 3, like this. And about render 2, let's make the geometry parameter to geometry 4. With that parameters, we can get only proper geometry to each render operators. But we often don't write the GEO, only the asterisk to shorten the chord, and the geometry this one too, asterisk 4. These particles are too small because the camera has too long shots, so check it and make it first orthographic and auth width to 1. Now we can see the many rectangle instances here, so let's make butterfly textures on them. Put the in connector here, in top here, and connect the texture 3D here. And put the default images to avoid the errors, and connect to second input. Here appears banana textures, and let's change the cache size to 160, but we'll change it later. And apply as a material with the constant material, and drag and drop here, and let's apply it to geometry 4. Drag and drop and check the material, not instance, this one, material. And we can see many bananas appeared here as the same way as earlier, and check the blend transparency here and check the depth test to off. With that we can get nice banana textures without any hollow areas with the transparency textures. Now the particles are I think it's too many, so let's get rid of some, decrease the number with the burst operator. It's now 100 and change it to 5. But many of the particles is still remaining, so check the remove the unused point here. With that, yeah, now we can decrease the number of particles. Okay, let's apply butterfly textures here, get out of the containers, and connect that butterfly movies here with the in operator effect. That butterfly images appeared here, and that motion image is cached in the here with the texture 3D operators. And to make the right texture, check that this 3D texture to 2D texture array. And that this is important, I often forget it, but without this we can't get right texture, so don't forget to check it here. And now the butterfly texture applied here, but it's still not moving. So let's get a dynamic index to move the textures. First we call it phase, and let's put the constant here and change the name to phase. And to change and let it go along this cache index up and down, so let's change the value to absolute time.frame. This is a useful phrase I often use. And make the modulus of this operator's cache size. So open that and copy parameters with a right click and copy it to, for example, here, and open here and paste references, and then there appear the references. So let's copy it and put the percent here to make a modulus and paste with the Ctrl V, and then we can get the modulus of the frame time to this cache size. And no need for these operators, so let's delete here. Okay, and then we put the trail operator here, and no need for so much length 4, so make it to 1. And then now that this trail 1 operator sample number is the 60th and the sub to 1 number is the 15. That is the particle number, and we want to set it as same numbers as the particle number. And so let's check the resample and make the 10 number to operators quotation mark sub to 1 quotation mark parenthesis, that is these operators, and the dot num sample, s is capitals, and samples. Here is the sample number becomes same as this, 15s, and when you check, make it active and hit the D, the sample number appeared as a dot, and when you see the sub 212, hit the A and the D. Now you can see the dot number. Okay, then let's merge into one operator with the position data with the merge operators and connect here, now active. And here is index reference signals, but now they are all integer number, not float. This is very important because they are texture cache index numbers. Then apply it to here the instance W, the phase, these phase signals. With that, now we can see that each butterflies are flipping.